Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. How's everybody getting along? Well, we have some big changes to be had here. Just as I was suspecting potentially later on in the month, we were supposed to see that big reversal. But look what's happening. We're seeing a massive warm trend develop, and let's explore why this is happening and how long this could last. And as we go upstairs to the 500 millibar flow, this is where we get a good idea of why things are occurring. Now, you see that first trough digs across the east with very little fanfare, but take a look as we go into the following week here. It's just not looking very conducive. In fact, you see that ridge developing here across the east and that trough out west. Take a look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Successive storms coming out of the Colorado area and moving up around this ridge of high pressure and this trough out west here. And we're going to see lots of snow out west in the northern plains, but we're going to barely see anything across the east. And I'll see if there's any prospects, but look at this. As we head through basically the third week of January here, that is a big old ridge here across the east, and that's going to push warmer air all the way up the coast. Let's get into it. All right, so if we take a look at the polar vortex here, take a look at this. This kind of tells the story here in the northern hemisphere. It is one solid blob, and it's big cell. Now, you want to see this kind of broken up a little bit to get pieces of it to break off across North America here. That's just not happening. So when you see the polar vortex strengthen like this, it's kind of a bad sign for snow lovers here across the east. Now, take a look at this. If you're into warm weather and no snow, that is good for you. Look at this. It does start to weaken by this point, though. This is January 17th next week. Now, when we start to see a weakening go through here, look at this. It's strengthening warm air here, ridging over parts of, Europe and parts of the Gulf of Alaska. We're kind of squeezing this cell here across the North Pole. And look what starts to happen. Usually you start to see some of this break off, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. We're retreating more east of Greenland and parts of Europe. So we start to see, some cold air intrusions here into Europe. But look at this across North America. This is just, you're just not seeing the polar vortex make any sort of presence. And look at this. Most of North America by January 26th is completely void of the polar vortex. It literally retreats over to Europe, and there is nothing going on here with the polar vortex in North America. We just don't have that cold air, and without cold air, you're not going to get any snowstorms. All right, so as we start with the upper air pattern here, this is what we got going this week. Look at this. There's a lot of ridging going on. Until the weekend, we start to get... I'm not really impressed with this. This was the trough that was supposed to start potentially a winter storm that we saw the models pick up last week and earlier this week, but it's just not happening. Look how progressive it is. It's not tilted negatively. It's almost tilted positively here. Yeah, you do have blocking to the northeast here, but, there's more to it than just blocking here. And look at this. It doesn't start to go negative. See how it's oriented northwest to southeast until it gets way off the coast. That's not good for any potential East Coast snowstorms. We just don't see them. So if you're into snow, that's just not a pattern you want to see. And look at that. We continue to see through Thursday, January 19th. Look at this. This is a big old ridge camped out across parts of the east here. And if you're out west, this is in the northern plains here, this is the area you're definitely going to see a lot of storminess and a lot of snow as we go forward. Take a look at that. We're just going to continue to plow these storms here into Northern California, bringing them up and then redeveloping a Colorado low and heading northeast like this. All right, so we're going to take a look at the HRRR model. There is significant problems continuing here out west. Take a look at this. This is just craziness. It's a great drought buster, don't get me wrong, but you've been having some major issues out west here, and that's going to continue through Tuesday night into Wednesday. Look at that. Another surge of moisture coming into the Bay Area of San Francisco. So look at that. Mountain snow out here west of Denver. Lots of heavy snow. We don't really have much to talk about back east here. Let's take a look at the entire United States for that matter, because... look at this. Yeah, we got some snow up by the lakes as well, but you know what? Look at this. This is all rain. The rain snow line is all the way up here into the northern part of Michigan, Wisconsin. And look at this. This is the big show out here. It's essentially out west into Northern California. It's been a crazy winter already. And, this wasn't really forecast to happen at all this winter. So, I feel bad that you're getting this all at once, but look at this. This is Wednesday at 12 a.m., 2 a.m. Look at this. If you're in Northern California here, you're really in for it. You got a constant convective fetch here. And look at this. Up here in the Cascades, yeah, the snow levels will be lowering. This is crazy. This is definitely a big drought buster here. It's going to help put a dent, at least, in the drought. Look at that comma shaped here. We really don't, back east. Take a look at this. This is Thursday at 5 a.m. So let's just back this up just a little bit. You can see out here in the plains. See how this comes together? This is essentially another Colorado low. So you're going to get the snow in this fashion here. So this area, you're going to get the low pressure forming, and it's going to come up like this. This is going to be the broken record pattern that we've been, talking about here. And it's going to be really hard to break this because look at this. As this continues to push eastward 9 a.m. Thursday morning, yeah, we get a little bit of wintry precipitation at the onset here Thursday morning across parts of Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, parts of New England. But you know what? That's quickly going to be replaced, by rain here. And look at this. Some of these, we could actually have thunderstorms, potentially strong, all the way up here into parts of Ohio. So, very light snow turning to wet, heavy snow here on the back, edge here. But, not much by any stretch of the imagination. You have to go up here into Ontario and Quebec to get into accumulating snow. Now, look at out west here. Not a lot has changed. Look at this. It just continues to pummel. This is the last frame. You're in the thick of it here all week out here in Northern California, ports of Oregon, and Washington State. All right, so if we start with the high-resolution Euro here, this is the model, none of the models have been really consistent as of late. Most of you already know that, so here we go. This is the West Coast. This is that 989 millibar low plowing into the coastline of Northern California and Oregon. And look at that. That translates to extreme valley rain, mountain snow. And, that's going to skip across the continental divide here, and this is where the secondary low is going to develop. And take a look at this. Yeah, this is where we're going to get into some really, big time showers and thunderstorms. Some of these could be severe. Now, you notice there's not a lot of snow even on the backside of this system. So there's not a lot of cold air to work with. You got some initially up here in the northeast, but you know what? As I said before, look what's stealing the big show out here. It's out west. This is where you're going to see tremendous amounts of rain and snow. We'll get into those mounts momentarily. There's, look at this. This is a, I'm sorry to say, none of you here across the East Coast have gotten much, if any, snow this winter. But look at this. This kind of low track is just going to continue up to western New York. It's not helping any of you get snow across the east, but look at that. It's pulling a lot of warm air up here. Initially, we thought there was going to be a secondary low develop here and move up the coast, but that's just not going to happen now. Look at that. The wave is too open. You don't have this negatively tilted. It's kind of neutral. It's not negatively tilted like we would like to see, like oriented such like this. So the axis is more northwesterly to southeasterly. But look at this here across the west coast. This is just craziness. This is just going to continue like a conveyor belt. You're literally getting all of your rain and snow all in one shot here across the west as another 989 millibar low moves into Oregon. And that plows snow deep into Arizona, New Mexico, parts of the Rocky Mountains here, Denver area, watch out. And look at this, broken record all over again. We're just going to continue to pinwheel these lows, just like this. This is what we're dealing with, and we just continue this massive high here across the east. I just don't see anything kicking this high pressure out of the eastern United States, and we just got to be realistic here with that. That's what we're dealing with. It's very hard to get these pattern changes to go through, but we'll take a look at the medium range model, see if we have anything to look forward to as we head deeper into February. Look at this. This is Friday, January 20th, a low moving up towards the northern Ohio Valley, eastern Great Lakes. That's pushing a lot of warm air northward. Yeah, we get snow, but most of it is up in Canada. It starts to get a little quieter out west, though, by this time. So that is an interesting trend. But, by this point, look at this. We're just getting a bunch of heavy rain here across the east. So here we go with total QPF, liquid equivalent precipitation amounts without taking, this is liquid form. Oh, look at this. Yeah, most of that back east. This takes us through the weekend. Look at this. This is through Sunday, January 15th. This is all pretty much rain. Yeah. And we're averaging about 3/4 anywhere all the way up to 1.5 inches of rain. Maybe locally higher, but not likely. Maybe some of the thunderstorms. But look at this out west here. Let's back up just a little bit. Look at this. This takes us through the weekend. This is a tremendous amount of moisture. This, my friends, is getting up to 6, 8, 10 inches of liquid equivalent. When you get that much rain in these areas, you get tremendous amounts of mudslides. It's just a tremendous mess. And those higher elevation snow, that is good for the higher elevation snow. That is tremendously good. But look at this. As we take through the rest, this takes us through the next week here through January 20th. Look at this slug. All this is going to be rain here in the Ohio Valley. That takes us up towards 3 inches on average here. And look at out west here. This is more rain and mountain snow. This just continues to pile up. It does get a little bit quieter towards January 20th, so you'll get a little break out west before I think things really start to pick up again towards the end of the month. All right, so let's take a look at snowfall here. Yeah, this is something back east you're really not going to be too interested in. Let's take us through the weekend here. So it takes us through about 5 days. Look at this. The Sierra Nevadas, and we start to get it here into the Cascades as well. That's some welcome snow, and you get this snow pummeling all the way into the Rocky Mountains too. That's some nice snow for you. Get a good snowpack, so when that dry summer comes along, you have some water melting up at the higher elevations. That's great. But look at here back east. Yeah, this is mostly in Canada. I think most of the warning criteria, snowfall stays in southern Ontario, Quebec, maybe clipping northern Vermont or northern Maine here. But for the most part, this is going to stay very light. So just how much snow are we looking at here? Well, here is our European model. I'll show you briefly here the mesoscale models as well. So this takes us through the weekend. Look at this. Yeah, we're getting, look at this. This is 60 plus inches here in these whiter zones, these lighter orange here into the Sierra Nevadas. That's insane. And you know what? We're actually getting snow here into the mountains, higher elevations of even Arizona. This is craziness. Look at this. And here we go. We're going to take a look at the Pacific Northwest here. This is through Sunday. Here we go. Let's just take it through the weekend. So yeah, we do start to get some snow up here in the higher elevations of Washington and Oregon, the Cascades. But, California is stealing the big show here. We do get some warning criteria snowfall here across much of the Intermountain West as well. Now, as we get up here into the upper Midwest, take a look at this. This week, things are really not going to be snowy, but, we get better chances as we get more Colorado lows next week. Take a look at this. This is Friday, January 20th. This is right around what I was thinking, the areas that would start to get more snow as we head towards the 3rd and 4th weeks of January here. And taking a look at the Northeast here, yeah, this takes us through the weekend. There might be a little bit of a lake response here on the backside, Cleveland up to Buffalo, Erie, Pennsylvania, but I'm not expecting anything tremendously major Friday into Saturday. We might have a couple inches. I think this is overdone a little bit. As I said, most of this warning criteria snow stays way up into Canada. This is on the backside of the system. I really don't think there's going to be much accumulation, however, behind the system. It's really hard, too, when you got the ground so warm, and then you have, rain starting to mix with and change to snow. And here's the HRRR, the mesoscale model on the Sierra Nevadas. Take a look at this. It's actually, sometimes these models can overdo some of the snowfall, but you know what? It's kind of on target here with the Euro. Some of these higher elevations getting upwards of 52, 60 inches plus. All right, so many of you are probably wondering, beyond what I showed you on Euro and GFS, well, do we have any chances of snow? Well, look at these. These troughs do not impress me. They're very fast moving. This is by the 26th of January. This is not a negatively tilted trough. This is a positive or neutral trough. Those do not give us those spin-ups here along the East Coast that can give us East Coast snowstorms. Now, we do start to get some ridging out west here. Let's see if that's just temporary. As we go in time, CFS medium range model is showing a very zonal pattern setting up until about the 31st of January. I'm not sure what to take of this here. This might be a pattern change potentially because look here, we have a big old ridge start to develop here in the Gulf of Alaska. Here's the ridge off the East Coast starting to retreat. So watch what happens here. This is pretty far out, so take this with a grain of salt. but that kind of plows down the ridge. But look what forms just behind it, another ridge, until we start to get this broken record pattern that we've seen time and time again the past 6 to 8 weeks here across the east. Look at this. Big old blast here across the west. Could February be just as warm in the east? Well, look at this. Yeah, you do get these spin-ups. This is by February 6th, but look at out west here. You know, the medium range is really picking up on this, that we're going to have troughs out west and ridges in the east. Now, you do get these spin-ups off the coast from time to time, but it's just not really conducive. And look at this. This is by approaching mid-February. We start to get this telltale ridge here developing across the east. And here it is across the tropics. Hello to my Caribbean friends, Central America, all of the Caribbean islands here. Hello. Here looking pretty good. It actually is very, very dry air here, and that's going to continue to push south and westward here. Watch this as we go in time, though. Things are just really clear this time of year. Look at this. You have this typical trade winds. All the activity stays up north towards Bermuda. Beautiful time of year if you want to go down there on vacation. Humidity is nice, too. Look at this. It's just crystal clear. Yeah, you get a front soar, every so often up by Cuba, but it just washes out. You got a little bit of convection up here by the Yucatan Peninsula, but none to be had here. And here across the Philippines, hello everybody out here in the Western Pacific. We have Invest 97W here. It is literally off the coast here. Most of the moisture is off to its northwest here. I don't think the system's going to develop. The Hurricane Center doesn't think so as well, but it is going to provide a lot of heavy rain through Wednesday and Thursday across the central and southern Philippines. Take a look at this. And, we really start to see some heavy rains, but thankfully they stay off to the northeast by Thursday and into Friday. Now, take a look at that. You're going to start to see some clearing by the weekend. So get out there and enjoy it if you're in the Philippines. And that matter for most of Asia. Take a look at this. We're really getting into some really nice weather here across the Western Pacific. So take some time outdoors and enjoy that. Look at that. The Philippines next week looking good, because look at this. By the end of next week, we get towards Thursday the 19th. I know many of you here across parts of Asia and all these Asian countries out there are getting ready for Lunar New Year. So take a look at that. You're looking really high and dry, which is really nice there. You do have some showers here across the southern part of China here. Parts of Vietnam, but take a look at this. Yeah, we do have a system out here we'll definitely have to watch here out into the South China Sea. So as we continue in time here, let's see what things hold here for the Philippines. As we continue in time, yeah, we're going to start to see that same area where we had 97, Invest 97W. Take a look at this. We have another system developing by Friday, January 20th here. And we'll have to watch this for potential development. It's probably going to be a big rainmaker more than anything, but it does fizzle out pretty quickly. And we do see another drying trend until we start to see showers and thunderstorms pick up the last week of January, the 24th. Take a look at this. And look at this. Most of you here across Asia are looking at a beautiful time for all of your big long week of Lunar New Year, and then it continues into the following week. Look at this. This is looking really beautiful. Even Japan getting rid of a lot of those northern systems. Let's just back up and see. Yeah, you do get some of these systems, but look at that. We clear that out. We're actually looking pretty good as we head towards the end of the month. Take a look at that. Things dry out from the Philippines. You do get some showers and thunderstorms up here south of Shanghai, but for the most part, we're looking pretty high and dry. A great time of year to get out there and enjoy. And here we go, John from Bradford Motorway. Take a look at this over in the UK. Look at that, 6 degrees Celsius. He is cruising out there on the open roadway. Look at those blue skies, getting out there and enjoy it. Nice capture there, John. All right, so taking a look at your temperatures for Wednesday. Look at this warmth. That's going to be spreading northeastward as we go into your Thursday. Take a look at this. So we start to see a surge of 40s and 50s up here into the northeast and mid-Atlantic. There is some cold air on the backside of the system, but there won't be much snow up here in the northern plains. Now take a look at this. Yeah, we surge this 50s and 60s all the way up the coast. It is relatively warm out here across the west for having such big systems, but it's that mountain snow, up in the Sierra Nevada and the Cascades that'll give you those heavy snowpacks into the elevations of the mountains there. And take a look at here, pinwheeling, cold air. You can't really call that much cold air. Look at this, Saturday. If you can really call that cold air for this time of year, it really isn't. Look at that, 30s behind that system there in the northeast. This is nothing. Many of you are probably wondering where the heck is winter. Look at this, and we start to get another warm air surge here across the southern plains for Monday of next week. Look at this. This is going to continue to rise things through the 40s into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Look at this. Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday we'll have another mostly cloudy day heading up towards 40. Thursday and Friday we get that warm front surging in. Low pressure moving to the west. We'll have some rain showers, maybe a brief period of snow initially Thursday afternoon, but look at that. Mainly rain showers up to 47 and 46 by Friday as that cold front just pushes through to the west. It won't be much of a cold front until later Friday night into Saturday. We may get a few snow showers or flurries Saturday, but no accumulation is expected. Upper 20s, that's more average, but look at that. We bounce towards 36 by Sunday. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern and Weather Eastern. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, at Susquehanna Weather for my local page, and guess what? MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com is Twitter, at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below, smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, share the video, and thanks for joining.